Good afternoon, everyone. We'll get started. My name is Amanda Zimmerlin. I'm the city manager for the city of Clayton. I am here with Mayor Mike Stevens, Councilmember Brendan Bachman, Chief Hamlin, and Detective Schutte. And then we also have Jason Dominkowski from Utility Body Worn here. I will turn it over to Mayor Stevens.
Thank you, Amanda. Well, we're really happy to announce this partnership today with Body Worn. This is the most advanced police technology available today. With this technology, we hope to accomplish several goals. First, we want to make sure that we have better transparency, better accountability with our officers and with our citizens, and we're confident that will lead to even a more increased trust. We feel like we'll have better documentation, if you will. These body cams will serve as a impartial eyewitness, so we'll be able to document fully every encounter that our officers have in the field. We also are confident that this will bring quicker resolution if there is an issue. Many times these men and women are in situations that no one can really have 100% recall, and so I think with the video and audio we'll be able to come to a quicker resolution to actually what happened. These also may be used as corroborating evidence in the case that we do make an arrest, or the issue would go to trial of some type. And more importantly, we hope to use it as feedback for our own department. We hope that we will get increased training opportunities out of this to see what we did right, what we did wrong, to keep our folks at the top of our game. So, very happy to introduce Mr. Jason Dominkowski here. He is from Body Worn Cameras, and we're so happy you're here, and welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Thank you. Again, Jason Dominkowski, Director of Law Enforcement Relations for Body Worn by Utility. I'm a retired Chief of Police from West Lafayette, Indiana, home to Purdue University, in the Department of Justice subject matter expert on body cameras. I'm here to help kick off things today for Clayton, and making sure that we underscore some of the features and really what makes Body Worn stand out specifically for this police department. Body Worn by Utility, our motto is to never ask an officer to do something that technology can do for them. And that's the basis of how we do things. Policy compliance with the expectations of communities today, and police departments' responsibility for transparency and accountability. It really does boil down to policy-based recording and making sure that the cameras that the officers are wearing comply with the policy of that agency. A couple of the features, and we have an outstanding model here today in Detective Schutte. He's wearing the body camera, and you can barely see the footprint of it here. You want to jump out here? Yeah. All right. So just the lens is visible because the body camera is contained in the uniform. It's integrated into the uniform. And the advantage of that is that the body camera can't be knocked off. This is the only system available. It's a patented solution to allow it to be integrated into the uniform. Many instances across the country that we've seen, national high-profile incidents where the body cameras fall off, is not possible with this solution. Another really unique feature to this solution is that it automatically offloads to the cloud from the body camera. There's no need to dock the camera at the end of the shift, and the video is secure instantaneously. It's not vulnerable while it's relying on a docking solution at the end of an officer's tour. And then finally, what makes this solution the most advanced technology available today is that it comes on automatically. It removes the possibility of human error, and it also removes the possibility of implicit bias of when to turn the camera on or when not to turn the camera on. The automatic features include when an officer is dispatched for a call for service, because it's a GPS-based unit, the camera comes on automatically when the officer arrives at a predetermined radius from the call. Example here, I think we have it set for 1 mile. So an officer is dispatched for a call, and when they accept that call for service, automatically their body camera comes on within a mile of the address that they're going to. Some of the automatic features in addition to that, to make sure that the camera comes on when it's supposed to come on, is the holster sensor. An officer draws their weapon, and the camera comes on automatically. I think you were going to show everyone that today.
Recording.
If you could see, when the officer...
We're going to have you do a few more.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll be available for autographs on that and for demonstration here in a few minutes. But as you can see and you could audibly hear, the body camera was activated by the draw of the officer's holster and automatically comes on and begins recording. Some of the other unique automatic features compliant with Clayton PD's policy is that the camera comes on if an officer goes into a foot pursuit. It's a smart device, it has GPS, and it's map-based. So you can see the officer actually in foot pursuit on a GPS-based Google map. And adding to that feature, another automatic trigger to activate the camera is the officer down feature, also GPS-based. If an officer, God forbid, were to go down in the field, the camera knows that the officer is horizontal and will activate within 10 seconds. Also, turning the camera on and alerting dispatch and all officers working that we have an officer down, and here's the location of that officer. Our company has several saves now in the field from that feature alone. So, as you can see, a redundancy of automation, of turning on the camera automatically in compliance with the department policy. And that compliance and those automatic policy-based recording triggers have earned our company the endorsement of the NAACP National Board of Directors, eliminating human error and implicit bias on when to activate the camera. It's done automatically in compliance with the chief's policy. I'll go ahead and take some questions, but I'm sure that you guys want to focus on the executive.
How much more can you put on an officer? I mean, he's got a lot of gear on right now. This isn't really directed at you, but I feel sorry. I shouldn't say that. I feel for the officer, men and women, who have to wear all that stuff. I mean,
so a great point. As you can see, very little real estate is taken up by this camera on an officer's vest. It's just about the size of a quarter, the lens itself. And in today's environment where we're asking so much of our law enforcement officers to do so much more than they historically have done, and the equipment, the life-saving equipment that they do now carry, that real estate has become more precious, and to just be able to take up a little bit of it and also not have the camera fall off in the field, because these officers will be the first ones to tell you that in a scuffle, anything that is hanging on the outside of an officer's uniform is subject to being removed and knocked off. And of all the tens of thousands of cameras that we have in the field, we've never had a camera knocked off, because you can't. It's embedded inside the uniform.
Sure.
what if the officers,
Put it in.
what's the officer is fighting someone and they're wrestling, go down? Does that affect the camera at all? Or?
It does. It's an additional automatic feature of ours. Besides the foot pursuit, again, this is a smart device. It knows when an officer is running. It also has a feature that allows the activation of the camera and the alert to when the officer is in a fight or struggle. And it recognizes that and activates the camera and alerts other officers that this officer is in a fight.
Is there something attached to the holster that makes it go off, or is it in the holster belt, or?
So,
Sensor right here.
Detective Schutte has a sensor that is placed on that, and when the connection from the weapon is broken from that sensor, it activates the camera by Bluetooth, and it also sends an alert to whomever the agency's policy determines an alert needs to go to, that we have an officer that has removed their weapon in the course of duty in the field.
I ask this on behalf of the officers. Nobody has asked me to ask this question.
Sure.
Especially, I don't know this guy here, but how much of his privacy is he giving up by wearing this camera as well? I mean, he don't want to accidentally activate while he's having dinner or a conversation with his significant other.
Sure. So that's often determined by a department's policy, but there's also features built in that includes an officer's ability to go off duty while having the device still on, and can only be activated under certain circumstances, like a holster draw or a foot pursuit. So those privacy scenarios and situations are protected, like a restroom break, like a coffee break. This system is also automated in that it has 2 minutes of pre-record. So a constant buffering of 2 minutes, if an officer were to draw their weapon in the field, activate the camera, it goes back and captures 2 minutes of pre-record, audio and video, to record why the officer had to take that action.
I have one other question, or actually it's twofold. I say this on behalf of the city manager, who I just met today, and the chief of police. How much are the body cameras, and out of all the police departments I've ever had interaction with, Clayton has been the most fairest to me. And I say that to the city manager, mayor, and whole. And the chief has been phenomenal for me. So
this system is a commitment to transparency and accountability, and has been recognized across the country by not just police departments, but I think really underscores community leadership, community stakeholders recognizing this system for its automation. That's a tribute to the chief and the mayor. And I'll let the mayor or the chief answer when it comes to dollars and cents. That's outside of my bailiwick. And
I just don't know if you can do a ballpark figure on what one of those units would cost.
It is a sizable commitment, and we'd like to thank the mayor, city council, and the city manager for supporting that effort. It is a 5-year contract worth $130,000, and that is all-inclusive. So all of the features that you see is included for 5 years. With that, at the 36-month mark, they will upgrade the cameras. If you want to remove that camera and show them, the body camera itself is removable, chargeable. It is basically a G7 telephone that does not, you cannot make phone calls, but at the 3-year mark, they will upgrade that, and that will just integrate right back into the system. So it's inclusive as far as cost, data storage, repair, upgrades. That cost is inclusive in that 5-year contract.
Chief, say your name for me.
Matt Hamlin, H-A-M-L-I-N, Chief of Police, City of Clayton.
I have kind of 2 questions here. It might be for both of you guys. The first question is, how quickly will this video be accessible? Is it something that Chief can watch in real time, or is this something that will be needed a couple days to get from the cloud? Number 2, Chief, why now? Why is body cameras coming to your department now instead of, for instance, 5 years ago or 5 years from now?
Well, I think now the reason why we're getting them is with this kind of cost, everything is inclusive. You know, years ago, you had to purchase the cameras, they're yours. You had to purchase a repair, maintenance agreement. You had to store the data yourself. You had to figure out where you were going to do that. And with this system, it's all inclusive. They figured it out for us. So as far as cost, I think we're comparable to any other system, but we get a lot more extras. So that's what motivated us to go. The other reason why we went to body cameras is because in today's world, you know, The public that we serve really wants accountability and transparency. And even though we had in-car cameras, which allowed some of that to be recorded, and now we can enhance that by having body cameras, and we can record every incident that happens between the public and the police officers.
Chief, how will this change your department?
It will change our department in the fact that now that we have the technology, we can hold the officers accountable, and we can also use this, as the mayor stated, as a training tool. We can see what we're doing right, we can see what we're doing wrong, and we can improve. And that's the goal of this department, to always improve.
Is this going to be like, I'm going to use hypothetical, like receiving a shot? If an officer decides they don't want it, do they still have to wear it under your policy?
Yes, under the policy, the officers have to wear it, and it has to be activated according to policy.
And how many cameras did you guys get?
17.
How many officers on?
17.
Okay.
So as your department grows, will more cameras be added then?
Yes, we can expand it. It's easily expanded,
Hopefully, we see for the same price.
hopefully.
Chief, the charging of it, how do you enforce that and make sure that when the officers are out there that...
The officers have docking stations here. They can charge. It's just like charging a phone. So we provided them all the materials they need to charge it right here. They have lockers. They can put it in their locker, lock it up, charge it up, as well as the sensors. Everything is provided by Body Worn.
And at the end of the day, they don't have to send it to the cloud, it's just automatically going, right?
It is always automatically uploading. And once they come back to the police department, it uploads even faster because of the access point.
So the availability is almost instantaneous then?
Yes. It does take a few minutes for the cameras, the body video to upload, but we can review it, I would say, within 10 to 15, 20 minutes.
Chief, is there anything you want to say on behalf of your department to the citizens of Clayton about this new technology that will be, is it already in the community?
We've been using the cameras now for about 2 weeks, so they have been active. You know, we listened to the residents, and this is what they wanted, and this is what we got.
Under your watch and command, how many people did it take to make this come to fruition?
Well, again, I think it was just the support of the mayor, the council, and the city manager. You know, when I came to them, they're all open ears, and we had a demonstration from Body Worn, and they saw, you know, how this system enhances the police department and the services we provide, and they gave us the green light. So that's why we're very appreciative of them.
Thank you, sir. Is there anything that the mayor wanted to add?
I wanted to add one point. Somebody in the back had asked about a feature, and Chief briefly touched on this, the ability to live view. And that video is uploaded automatically to the cloud, but the chief can also, under his purview and policy, live view into a situation for complete situational awareness. And in today's environment, I think that could be needed on multiple fronts. But certainly in a situation where there may be civil unrest, there may be an incident of a tactical situation, and the chief from anywhere where he has internet service can live into an officer's camera and see what the situation is. Also, the complete situational awareness piece for the chief's office is having a view on a laptop of where all of the assets of the police department are at any given time. If the officer's on duty, a live view map, because it is GPS based, but also all squad cars. So you're GPSing cars and officers irrespective to their location.